I'm thrilled to have Mike Roach here. We became friends covering Toronto Raptors games. We would find, as quiet as we could, little pockets of Scotiabank Arena and record quick little podcasts. I miss our basketball chats, and I'm excited to dig into Mike Roach's story with basketball here in this episode. Mike, thanks for your time.
Appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you, man. I miss those days at Scotiabank Arena when we would find a quiet spot and get those podcasts in real quick.
First question for you. When did you fall in love with basketball?
I fell in love with basketball, I would say, probably late 90s, growing up in Montreal. My brother was a basketball player. He was the second rated player in his class. So he was ranked number 2 in Canada. Growing up at that point when he was a youngster in high school in Montreal. And he encouraged me to get into playing basketball. And, Montreal is like a really big basketball city. And for those of you who followed me and, when I had a show with, current Boston Celtic Chris Boucher. And a big part of that is because he's from Montreal, and his manager, him and I actually played together when we were kids in Montreal. So there's like a bunch of guys who I've played with who have gone on to do some pretty awesome things. But in the late 90s, my brother was definitely the catalyst to me falling in love with the game.
That's amazing. What are some fun stories of watching your brother play or you playing with him on a driveway or in a gym with you guys growing up?
I think for me, watching him it was crazy because it was seeing the other people's faces watching him. I don't know who I would necessarily compare him to, but just a good shooter, high flyer, very good defensive player. And, we moved from Montreal to the GTA and we played in Malton. And, seeing him come from Montreal over here and transition quickly into being and continuing on his path to being such a good player still, right? Kind of like, where the hell did this guy come from overnight? Watching that was actually pretty funny, and the impact he made playing up here as well. But I mean, just thinking back, he was always kind of he was pretty tough on me. He would never let me give excuses and cry and be a big baby or anything like that. You always had to kind of stand up for yourself, be kind of grimy while you're out there, hold your own. Made you play with the older guys and suck it up when you got knocked around and all that kind of stuff. So it's all good, man. It was all love. But I mean, you know how it was. I mean, with the attitude of your big brother and all that kind of stuff back in the 90s, at least. I mean, I don't know how much it's really changed. I doubt it's really changed that much with, being young siblings, but that's the kind of mentality that we had at that point. It was always about, you better suck it up, take the hits, take the bruises, and keep it pushing. And that was really the mindset at that time. And so I like I said, I don't think it's really changed that much now, has it? I would think it's pretty much the same.
Have you told your brother this before? Like, if he's in this clip, is this the first time he's going to know this, or does he know that impact he's had on you?
It's a good question. I don't know if I've really told him. Maybe I have a time or two, but probably not really in depth. So if he sees this, he'll probably, be like, wow, I did make an impact. But no, I don't think I've really just sat down and kind of had an in-depth conversation with him about the impact he's had in regards to me in basketball. But it definitely was because of him.
We both know the impact that basketball had on, say, Kobe Bryant, and he was proud to be a girl dad. You have 2 girls. Do you have them in any basketball? Like, do you guys shoot hoops on the driveway? Do you have any connection basketball-wise with them?
Not yet. They do say they want to go shoot around sometimes in the summer and stuff, but not really yet. But I do notice that they're watching a lot of games. My eldest daughter especially. My youngest daughter, she's 5, so she watches it if she has to. But my older daughter is taking a liking to it. One thing that I realize about her is she knows all the players' names and numbers, and players from all different teams and the numbers on their jerseys, which is strange to me because I watch the Raptors all the time and talk about the Raptors and do shows in them and all the time. I don't even know the numbers on their jerseys, to be quite honest with you. Maybe one or two of them, but for somebody who's just starting to watch basketball, you mention a random player on Detroit and she knows what number he wears. Somebody on the Lakers, somebody on Dallas, and then my wife is like, this. She's like, oh, I know this guy. He's this number. And my wife and I just look at each other and be like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Then we'll be like, let's just Google it. And it happens to be right, which is, I'm just like, how did she know this? you know? So it's pretty funny to see her taking a liking from watching it on TV. Maybe going out and shooting around and playing, but watching it on TV and studying and learning in the background, I see that happening.
One of the cool things about having young kids, whether daughters or sons, is they look up to their father. And so your daughters know you did that show with Chris Boucher for a couple seasons, at least 2, I think. And they know that you go and you work game days with the Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
Do they try and see you on TV at times? Do they get interested in your game day routines? Where does that kind of inspire your daughters or even your wife in some ways?
So it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not there as much this season, but for the last 11 years, I've been down there. And there was a game actually last year where my wife and my eldest daughter came to a game. And I brought them down to the court. I brought her, my daughter to meet Matt Devlin. And, Matt kind of put her on the headset and gave her the microphone. And she can hear the producers and stuff talking. And, it's a really surreal experience. And seeing her with Chris Boucher last season, Alvin Williams at the booth and all that kind of stuff was really, really cool. Because, sometimes they'll look and try to spot you on TV if you're sitting with the broadcasters up front like I would do from time to time. And, other times they'll just try to catch you randomly. But when they're actually there and see it and, feel the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff, that was really cool for them to experience. And so, it's something that they remember. You look back and you see the pictures, and we're going to do it more and more. Hopefully I can bring my youngest daughter at some point, but she's really young and still pretty wild. So hopefully she'll experience it soon, but I'm looking for a lot more experiences like that. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not there as much this season, but for the last 11 years, I've been down there. And there was a game actually last year where my wife and my eldest daughter came to a game. And I brought them down to the court. I brought her, my daughter to meet Matt Devlin. And, Matt kind of put her on the headset and gave her the microphone. And she can hear the producers and stuff talking. And, it's a really surreal experience. And seeing her with Chris Boucher last season, Alvin Williams at the booth and all that kind of stuff was really, really cool. Because, sometimes they'll look and try to spot you on TV if you're sitting with the broadcasters up front like I would do from time to time. And, other times they'll just try to catch you randomly. But when they're actually there and see it and, feel the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff, that was really cool for them to experience. And so, it's something that they remember. You look back and you see the pictures, and we're going to do it more and more. Hopefully I can bring my youngest daughter at some point, but she's really young and still pretty wild. So hopefully she'll experience it soon, but I'm looking for a lot more experiences like that.
You mentioned you have 11 years covering the Raptors. When you think back on those 11 years, what are some of the really cool memories that stick out for you? I have one in my head as an easy one, but I'm curious if there's a couple, or when you think back on your time so far with the Raptors, what sticks out for you?
I would have to say the championship of course that whole year 2019, 2018, 2019, that whole year was just amazing, right? To think that in our lifetime that we actually saw that happen is absolutely incredible. Vince Carter with his jersey retirement last season was incredible as well. Um, I don't know, like those are the two biggest things that stick out to me. Most of it, to be honest, most of the great times that I remember weren't necessarily too much about the Raptors. It was about the people. It was about the people. Like when I think, back on it, like even you, Ryan, like you and me, how we would go off somewhere and do our podcast and have our phones up and we're recording and doing shows in at Scotiabank, and it's that's mostly to me are the best things. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the team or the game. It was mostly about the people you meet on the way and during those times when you're at work. Like to me, those are the best things.
I agree completely. Like, still buddies with Robin, still buddies with you, still
Yeah.
connect with these dudes, and it's just so nice to have that connection. I loved, for almost my entire time doing media, I was up in the hockey gondola, and
Yes.
so
Yes.
Robin and Mark and I, the three of us, we had that bird's eye view. We
Mm-hmm.
talked basketball and life for those 2 hours. We're watching the game, we're doing our work, but it's that camaraderie, it's that friendship. That's what I miss about doing Raptors games. Another thing
Yeah.
you brought up though is Vince Carter. I have a very strong opinion on him,
Mm-hmm.
in that I feel very strongly he saved basketball in Canada. He saved the
Mm.
NBA in Canada. I remember Tristan Thompson coming up, and even Jamal Murray in this generation of players.
Oh yeah.
They've said that Vince Carter made basketball cool. Like, hockey is
Agreed.
the sport in Canada. And I think the Raptors might have moved like Vancouver did. And so I have a tremendous amount of gratitude. And one of the things that I've been frustrated with is the way that the media shaped that narrative when he was traded, and that the fans embraced that. I think it was Sportsnet, and I believe it was Michael Grange did a great profile on what actually happened, which
Mm-hmm.
led to that retirement thing. What's your take on Vince Carter, and why do you think that retirement of his number and jersey, whatever that was, why was that so powerful for you?
Well, Vince Carter is the most talented Toronto Raptor that's ever put on a jersey for this country. I mean, what he did when he was here. I mean, this guy was just completely on a different level than people have ever seen. I mean, this guy is like the best in-game dunker that we have seen ever, Vince Carter. What he did in the dunk contest, what he did in the All-Star games. I mean, him going toe-to-toe with Allen Iverson in the second round of the playoffs in that Game 7. I mean, like Vince Carter is just straight up legendary, and he is a Toronto Raptors legend forever. I mean, you can't duplicate what Vince Carter did. I mean, this guy was just an electrifying athlete, not just for Toronto or Canada, but the entire league. Like, this guy was box office. Everybody wanted to see Vince Carter. Like, everybody. When Vince Carter came to your city, the place is sold out. Now, it's one thing when you can sell out your home arena, but when you can go to a different city and sell out the arena there too, that's when you know you're on a different level in regards to how box office you really are, And so to see Vince Carter's jersey go up in the rafters and have all the crowd cheering and crying and celebrating after years of booing this guy mercilessly, right? And I understand that he had a rocky exit with the Raptors, and to a certain degree, you look at the organization at that time, and it was horrific. I mean, it was terrible. I mean, some of the moves that they were making and just like, it was just really, really bad. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't excuse his exit the way that it was, because that wasn't good either, to be completely honest with you. But I don't think people really knew the ins and the outs of what the situation was from a business standpoint. And I mean, when you are doing all that for the city, and the whole Dr. J thing was a big thing when Vince wanted to bring him in, and give his input, like, maybe we should bring in Dr. J because he was available and had interest in being the GM for the Raptors at that time. And he was like, listen, nobody wants to come here. Like, no one. Remember, this is back then, right? This is 25 years ago? 24 years ago, whatever the case may be. You have players, yeah. You have players who don't want to come here now in Toronto. So imagine back then, right? And so he was like, maybe if you get a guy like Dr. J in here, who's a GM, maybe he can attract guys to come over here. And they go, I don't think so. We're going to go with Rob Babcock. Like, are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? And I think that was the last straw for Vince. I think that was the last straw. T-Mac was already gone. The team wasn't trending in the right direction. And, a part of that was just a backbreaker, in my opinion. But it was more than just basketball. It was a whole business thing. And it was just like, it was at the point where Giannis is now with the Bucks. Like, it's just time to go. There's no mending this. You just got to separate here and go your separate ways. And, the comments he made in regards to, I'm not going to be dunking anymore and blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. It just got a little ugly in the end. But overall, man, I think people came to the realization and understanding that, listen, it was time to part ways mutually. He did as much as he can do. The things that he did will never be seen again. Not the way that he did it. But he did love it here. He did want to be here, but just sometimes it doesn't work out. But in the end, to see the crowd, cheering for him, clapping for him, and just celebrating it with him, I think that was some good closure, not just for Vince, but for the fans and the city, the organization as well.
All right, final question for you, Roach. After all these years of having basketball in your life, starting back when you were a kid, what does basketball give to you now that it didn't give to you back then? How has it grown? How has it changed? Why is basketball still important to you as a father and as a grown man?
That's a good question. Basketball is one of those things that it makes me happy. I don't have to do it for money, and, it's funny. I was talking to some of the guys who work down for TSN, and I was talking to Paul Jones and, and some of the other guys down there. And I said, Paul, you know what the difference is between us and a lot of guys, right? Because I'm sure people know who Paul Jones is. They know his brother, Mark Jones, who works for ESPN. And I said, you know why we're always going to be around the game, whether it's the Raptors, another team, the NBA, whatever the case may be? I said, and we were standing in Scotiabank Arena and we were looking around, right? And we're seeing all these people who work there. But they're only there because they get a check, right? And we started talking and we said, you see, that's the difference with guys like us. With or without the check, we're still going to be here. Because it's not about the money. It's about the love of the game. We've grown around the game. And we have been intertwined with it from we were kids growing up. It's not about the money. Even without the money, we're still going to do what we do. I'm still going to be podcasting. I'm still going to be in the gym at different camps. I'm still going to be around talking to coaches and players and scouts and referees and all this different type of. I'm still going to be doing all of that stuff because this is my life. These are who the people are that are around me. Like I have guys who are friends that play in the NBA, play overseas. I have friends who are coaches. I have friends who are referees who have coached. Like, these are the guys that I played with. We were in the same gym as kids. And so that's the difference. It's not about money. It's about, this is just what we do. This is all about for a love of the game. And that's why I remember one time I was talking to Mark Cuban. We're playing the Raptors one game. We're playing Dallas. And at the end of the game, I was towards the back, like where the team buses are, and I saw Mark Cuban, and he was walking. I was like, "Hey, Mark, how you doing?" or whatever. So he comes and he shakes my hand. I was like, "Can I ask you a quick question?" He's like, "Sure, man." I said, "What's one piece of advice that you can give me that I could take with me going forward?" And he said a very simple answer. He's like, "If you're going to do something in life, do something that you love. Because when times get hard, when you're doing it, you're not going to quit. You're not going to quit because you love it." And it's the absolute truth. It's the absolute truth. Like, if you just do what you love, don't even worry necessarily about the money. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do something that you love and not have a job at the same time or something like that. You want to be able to, right. That's what I mean. Right. And so, but it's important that you still do things that make you happy, still do things that you love, still do things that you're passionate about. And in time, it will reward you for doing it, keeping it honest, being true to yourself while you're doing it. Good things will happen for you.
That was the perfect way to end this. Roach, buddy, great to hear some of your story tonight. Thank you for sharing it.
Appreciate that, man. And hold on, man. I'm hoping to see you sometime this year. I'm hoping.
Are you coming out this way, or
yeah, I might be out there
when I'm back in Canada for the summer for a little bit?
No, I might be out there. Perfect. I got family close to you.
All right, so please keep me posted because I'd love to see you, buddy.
Yeah, me too, man. Same here.